Have you ever heard the story of the Ohio Triplets? 3 infants, born in 1856, whose short lives became the seed of a legend so disturbing that even now, more than a century later, people hesitate when their names are whispered. Some say the children were cursed from birth. Others believe they were not even human. And yet, some insist it was all just a story. But the most chilling part, once you hear it, you'll find yourself wondering what's real and what's not. The year was 1856. America was still young. Ohio was mostly farmland, dirt roads, wooden barns, and villages where people depended on faith and superstition as much as they did on hard work. News traveled by word of mouth, and a single rumor could spread faster than wildfire. In a small riverside town, a woman gave birth to 3 identical triplets. 4 days, people celebrated. Babies were a blessing, and 3 at once was seen as almost miraculous. But the joy didn't last. The neighbors began to notice things. The cries of the infants weren't like other babies. High-pitched, shrill, like the sound of the wind squeezing through broken glass. Their eyes, unfocused, yet strangely alert. They didn't look at their mother, or the lantern light above their cribs. They only stared at one another. 3 sets of identical eyes, locked in a way that made grown men shiver. At first, people tried to explain it away. But soon, the family's farmhouse became a place people avoided. Horses would stop in the dirt road, refusing to move past the fence. Dogs gathered at night and howled until morning. Inside the house, the air felt heavier, colder. Visitors swore they could hear faint whispers, even when the babies were asleep. And then came the dreams. Neighbors reported the same nightmare, standing in a pitch-black room, unable to move, hearing 3 small voices chanting in perfect unison. The first death came only a few months later. One morning, the parents found the first triplet lifeless in its crib. No wound. No sickness. Just gone. The town doctor examined the body and whispered something that chilled the parents to the bone. The child's blood was wrong. Too dark. Too thick. He refused to write anything more than cause unknown on his report. Weeks later, the second baby died. This time, there was a witness, the mother herself. She woke screaming that her child had no shadow. The cradle, the wall, the floor lit by lantern light, yet nothing moved with the baby. That night, the baby was gone before dawn. The neighbors whispered of curses, witchcraft, or something worse. The third baby didn't die. It simply vanished. One morning, the cradle was empty. No footprints in the mud. No broken window. Just gone. That was the night the farmhouse was abandoned. The parents disappeared, leaving everything behind. Neighbors swore they could still hear the mother's cries echoing in the distance, long after the house was silent. Years passed, but no one ever settled in that farmhouse again. Travelers claimed to see 3 pale figures in the windows, swaying back and forth. Others swore they heard children's lullabies floating through the night air. The braver ones who entered the house left shaken, muttering about scratches on the wall's 3 lines, carved deep into the wood in every room. By the early 1900s, the story had grown. Some said scientists studied the infants before they died and discovered something strange in their blood. Something not found in humans. Others claimed the babies weren't human at all, but imposters slipped into our world to mimic us. The details twisted and darkened with each retelling. And then, in the 21st century, the legend returned. Online horror forums, creepypasta websites, and YouTube channels all revived the story of the Ohio Triplet. Now, the tales included government cover-ups, missing medical notes, and whole towns silenced to keep the secret. People loved to ask, if this isn't real, why does it feel so real? But here's the truth. There are no historical records, no archives, no old newspapers. Nothing in Ohio history mentions these triplets. The earliest versions of this story appear not in the 1800s, but on the internet less. No. So. More. Padre. The Shadowless Child, The Blood Too Thick, The Collective Nightmares, all of these are storytelling devices, hallmarks of creepy. So, what does that mean? It means the 1856 Ohio Triplet Mystery is not fact. It's folklore. It's horror crafted to feel like history. And yet, it works. Because humans are wired to share unsettling tales. In the 1800s, it was witches and curses. Today, it's viral horror stories dressed up as lost history. The details change, but the thrill stays the same. And maybe that's the real reason this story endures? Because even knowing it's fiction, you can't help but imagine that farmhouse on a moonlit night. You can't help but picture 3 cradles, side by side. And you can't help but hear the sound of 3 voices whispering in the dark, in perfect unison, waiting for you to listen.